It's beautiful weather for baseball from Brewster, Massachusetts, as the Harwich Mariners are set to take on the Brewster Whitecaps in the final series of the season. It will be a home-and-home series as the Harwich Mariners are on the road in Brewster tonight. They'll be back at home tomorrow evening at 6:30. I'm Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner, Thomas Cinzarella. And Thomas, let's jump right into it. The Harwich Mariners send Austin Wood to the mound. He's facing off against Lingenfelter. What are your thoughts on this pitching matchup?
Well, it should be definitely an interesting one for both sides. Austin Wood, a guy that has shown a ton of flashes this year, but also has struggled at times. Looking back at his last start against Chatham, picked up a no decision, went 4 strong innings, no hits allowed, 1 run, which was unearned. But he did walk 5 guys and struck out 5 as well. So we've seen a guy where he can strike out a high amount of guys. It's just a matter of the walks. Are they going to be high this game, or are they going to be rather on the low end? So that's something to look for Austin Wood. And then for Zach Lingenfelter, he has been really good over the past 3 starts. Again, we mentioned the pregame show, and the Mariners minute. Just the one rough start against Bourne, where he gave up 7 runs over 2 1/3 inning, and has really been a big outlier. His last 3, he's pitched 5 innings each. He's given up 2 runs over those 3 outings, only 11 hits, and a couple strikeouts to tally along as well. So these look really good for the Brewster Whitecaps, and they need a great start for him today. Again, big playoff race between the Whitecaps and the Orleans Firebirds. Of course, Whitecaps play first. Orleans not playing until 7 o'clock tonight in Chatham, so that's something to keep an eye on.
You mentioned the playoff implications and the games this evening with regarding Orleans. Now, the Brewster Whitecaps sit 1 point ahead of the Orleans Firebirds, 2 games to go. So with a Brewster win tonight and an Orleans loss, the Brewster Whitecaps would clinch the final spot in the Eastern Division. So these games have a lot of importance for the Brewster Whitecaps, but for the Harwich Mariners, they're already clinched. They're already set in stone at that 3 spot in the East Division, so they can't really move. Do you see these games still being important for the Mariners, though?
Oh, they're definitely important, and there's no fact about that. Just, a guy like Austin Wood, who could be beneficial in the postseason, is how far the Mariners go and how far he'll go today. If he goes a couple innings, he could be available towards the latter half of that series. And then some guys hitting-wise as well. I mean, in every at-bat, it can put you in a slump or it can bring you back out of a slump. So it should be interesting how we see how each hitter will continue to either hit well or not.
So we'll step aside for the national anthem and be back for first pitch. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Lynn.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Lynn.
Welcome back inside Brewster, Massachusetts. We're just moments away from first pitch. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas Cinzarella. And let's get things underway. Thomas, take us around the diamond for the Brewster Whitecaps.
Starting out in left field is Dominic Canzone, Hunter Bishop out in center. Ray Halejo over in right field. Cameron Inning getting a start at third base. Gage Workerman at shortstop. Ike Freeman at second base. Jesse Franklin at first. And Joe Donovan doing the catching for Zach Lingenfelter.
And now the starting lineup for the Harwich Mariners. Batting first and playing center field, Ben Norman. Batting second, the third baseman, Danny Casals. Batting third, the designated hitter, Andre Lipsius. The cleanup hitter in tonight's lineup, Nate Eichhoff. He's playing first base. Batting fifth, the catcher, Brad Debo. Batting sixth and playing right field, Gabe Rivera. Batting seventh, the left fielder, Johnny Stanton. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Ramon Garza. And closing out the order and playing second base is Brian Dempsey. And now, Thomas, what do you see as the keys to the game for tonight's matchup?
Well, there's a couple new additions into this lineup. We don't see Shunk in the lineup today, but we do see Andre Lipsius and Danny Casals as well, the 2-3 spot. And we've said the top order has been key this year. Casals has been on a tear as of late with the home run in yesterday's ball game. I really put the only run on the board for the Mariners, and he'll look to continue that trend here in today's ball game. We see Brad Debo reinserted back into the lineup, someone to keep an eye on. And then kind of the newcomers as well. Brian Dempsey in the 9th spot collected a hit yesterday in the loss, and Garza and Stanton, two guys that, you know, they have some pop in their bat. We know Stan does, a guy that was mentioned before in the 3-4 spot this whole season.
And now, what are your thoughts on Zach Lingenfelter? I know we mentioned him briefly in the pregame show, but what do the Mariners have to do tonight to get the win with Zach Lingenfelter on the mound, who's pitched quite well recently?
Well, the Whitecaps pitching has been pretty good this year against the Mariners. It's just a big inning where some of the defense has fallen apart for the Whitecaps. We know it's been a problem this year, but as of late, it's been pretty good, the Whitecaps. And just, again, attacking hitters early in the counts. And we've seen Detmers do it right back here on July 4th, where they pitch well for the Whitecaps.
And stepping in from the left side to lead things off is Ben Norman. First pitch from Lingenfelter, swung on a ground ball, fielded by the shortstop Workman. He throws over to first. It's in time. Nicely done by Workman, ranging over towards second base to play that ball on the forehand before firing over to first.
I've seen Workman over at shortstop. We've seen Cameron Eden at a multitude of second base and third base. So really, Workman's a very nice job over at shortstop.
And Danny Casals, the second hitter in the Mariners order. He's at third base tonight. First pitch from Lingenfelter. In there for a strike at the letters on the right-handed hitter. Danny Casals was slumping earlier about a week ago, but more recently he's picked it up, especially last game when he managed to hit a home run as the 0-1 pitch is swung on and chopped foul to the screen behind home plate. Count 0-2.
Well, Casals, no doubt about it, struggled for a bit, looking to get back on track as he's 3 for 9 of his last 9 at-bats, so doing a good job so far.
He had a fantastic season back at Maine where he hit 14 home runs, added 49 RBIs. The 0-2 pitch is swung on a line drive into left field for a base hit as his bat continues to stay hot over the past couple of games. Runner on first base and one out in the top of the first inning as Andre Lipsius digs in from the right side.
Well, it was a good start from Lingenfelter. Fired 2 strikes and they're ahead in the count, but Casals just best. Lingenfelter there, good 2-strike approach, shorten up the swing, choke up on the bat. Nice smooth swing to put one in between the hole between short and third.
The first pitch from Lingenfelter. Misses outside, a check swing from Lipsius, but he manages to hold up. Runner on first base, one out. Scoreless game in the top of the first. Lingenfelter comes set, the 1-0 pitch. Misses upstairs in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball on the inside corner, in there for a strike, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
With that base hit from Casals, we see Lingenfelter working for the stretch for the first time this evening. Give him something to think about over at first base.
Casals not the biggest threat to run, but Lingenfelter does throw back over to first base to check on him as Casals scurries back to the bag. Just one hit so far for the Harwich Mariners and got one out in the top of the first. Lipsius, who is the Mariners' 3-hitter, digs in. The 2-1 pitch misses well upstairs in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike.
Seen a couple times in this at bat where the fastball is just run a bit too high now. Did pound one in the zone for a strike.
Three balls and 1 strike on Lipsius. Casals leads off of first base with 1 out in the top of the first. The 3-1 pitch swung on, a line drive into left for a base hit. So back-to-back hits from the Mariners, and there are runners on first and second with 1 out in the top of the first.
Now we've seen the Mariners able to get a plethora of hits in games. It's just a matter if they can score runs off of them. I mean, we talked about yesterday's game where they out-hit the Anglers 7-6, but the Anglers had a couple extra base hits and a couple base hits back-to-back. They're at a play to run. Now it's up to the Mariners to try to score a run here.
Will be very big for the Mariners offense to get some early runs, and Nate Eichhoff digs in from the left side. He's the cleanup hitter in tonight's order. And ever since the slow start at the beginning of the season, Eichhoff's come around nicely. And we'll call time as the catcher Donovan will go out to have a meeting with Lingenfelter. Runners on first and second, 1 out. No score on the top of the first.
It seems like just a little mix-up on signs, didn't agree on a pitch, so just making sure they're both understanding of the situation and the at-bat.
Couple of Mariners players who have been consistently in the lineup getting a bit of a roll in the playoffs. You mentioned Aaron Schunk out of the lineup along with Tanner Morris. As the first pitch to Eichhoff misses upstairs and outside, and the count 1-0. Just 2 games remaining in the regular season before the playoffs start on Saturday night. DeVito will be the Mariners starter in Game 1 as they take on the Chatham Anglers in the first round. The 1-0 pitch on the outside corner for strike 1, and the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike on Eichhoff.
Sal's got a healthy secondary lead over at second base, and catcher Donovan thought about it, but throw it down to second.
So it's Casals off second base, Lipsius off first with 1 out in the top of the first. The 1-1 pitch to Eichhoff. Cut on and fouled off behind home plate in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Eichhoff restraps his batting gloves and steps back in. Lingenfelter looking for his first strikeout as he's ahead in the count 1-2. The pitch. This is upstairs and outside, and the count even at 2-2. Danny Casals playing games over at second base, trying to get in the head of Lingenfelter as he's jumping back and forth as he looks back at him.
A little bit of a cat and mouse game. That's why you're going to see Workman maybe try to work behind Casals, keep him close over there.
The 2-2 pitch. Well upstairs and outside. Count runs full at 3-2. And again, Lingenfelter getting to 3 balls in the count. It was a 3-1 count on Lipsius when he ripped a single into left field. So a couple of problems with control over the last couple of batters. Lingenfelter gets a sign from Donovan. The 3-2 pitch swung on and fouled off to the screen behind home plate, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Eichhoff putting up a good battle here against Lingenfelter, hoping that maybe make a mistake, pitch in the zone, he can drive out to the outfield.
Pitch number 7 of the at-bat. Swung on a high chopper over towards first. Nicely fielded by Franklin. A flip to the pitcher, Lingenfelter, who covers for the second out. But advancing to second and third are Lipsius and Casals. So the Mariners with 2 runners in scoring position as the catcher, Brad Debo, will step in from the left side.
Not the worst result for the Mariners or the Whitecaps as well. Brewster able to get an out over at first base, but the Mariners able to advance both runners into scoring position with 2 outs.
Brad Debo, who finds himself in the 5 spot tonight, digs in. Debo's been in and out of the lineup this year with 3 catchers on the team for most of the season with Driscoll and Meadows. Meadows no longer on the team, though, so Debo's getting a few more opportunities behind the plate. And Driscoll getting additional reps as the first pitch is on the outside corner for strike 1. Driscoll in the outfield for quite a few games this season. He's played some in left, some in center field as well.
Yeah, and both guys have been particularly getting better at the plate as well, really sort of contribute into this Mariners offense.
The 0-1 pitch misses inside, and the count 1-1 strike on Debo. It's Casals off third, Lipsius off second, 2 outs. Top of the first inning in a scoreless game. One pitch from Lingenfelter. Swung on and fouled off over towards the left side over the Brewster dugout, and the count 1-2 strikes. It'll be big for the Harwich Mariners if they can get a couple of runs and give Austin Woods some run support. Allow him to feel at ease as he enters the ballgame, and that's very important for Austin Wood as we've documented some of his control problems in the past. We know he has the great stuff. He can strike out batters, but the problem always has been falling behind in the counts. And if he can have a little more confidence on the mound with the Mariners' lead, that would go a long ways. The 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Debo goes down swinging to end the top of the first inning. The Mariners strand 2, and at the end of the top of the first, it's a scoreless game. You're listening to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom of the first inning from Brewster, Massachusetts, as the Harwich Mariners and Brewster Whitecaps are scoreless. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas Inzarella. Thank you for tuning in on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon as you take us around the Harwich Mariners diamond.
Starting at left field, Johnny Stan, Ben Norman out in center, Gabe Rivera in right, Danny Casals getting the start at third, Ramon Garza at shortstop, Ryan Dempsey at second base, Knight Eichhoff over the corner at first, and Brad Debo then the catching for Austin Wood.
And the starting lineup for the Brewster Whitecaps: batting first and playing left field, Dominic Canzone; batting second, the right fielder, Ray Alejo; batting third and playing center field, Hunter Bishop. The cleanup hitting .270 on the year in 111 at-bats. First pitch from Austin Wood misses outside for ball 1. We discussed some of Wood's numbers in the pregame show. He has 13 strikeouts, but 9 walks in his last 7 1/3 innings of work as the 1-0 pitch misses upstairs and outside, and the count 2-0.
Well, it's definitely a thing to keep an eye on. He can strike, we mentioned before, strike a lot of guys out, but can also walk quite a few as well. That's going to be a key for him today.
2-0 delivery. Fastball at the knees for strike 1, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. And the 2-1 pitch. Swung on, a ground ball over towards second base, and it's going to get under the glove of Dempsey and into right field. So Dominic Canzone leads off the game with a hit for the Brewster Whitecaps. It's a runner on first with no outs.
Yeah, just a tough play. It would have been a tough play for Dempsey. He would have had to. He tried to go stretch his glove, but it just went right underneath. It was maybe just another half step away from making that play. He would have to maybe spin or turn his whole body around to get Canzone at first, and he runs pretty well as well.
Runner on first base, no outs. And pitch is in there for a strike as the second hitter, Ray Alejo, shows bunt and pulls back.
Alejo, guy with a lot of speed, just hit an inside the park home run against Orleans. It's about 3 games back here.
The 0-1 pitch swung on, a high pop-up foul behind home plate, and the count 0-2.
It's good for Wood to get ahead in the count after the leadoff man Canzone gets on.
Yeah, and he pitched the first 2 balls to Canzone. They were, as I mentioned, balls. He came back, got a strike, and then allowed a base hit, and he's pounded the strike zone for back-to-back strikes again versus the second hitter, Alejo. As the 0-2 pitch, this is just upstairs in the count 1-2. Again, as you were mentioning earlier, Wood has good stuff. He can strike out a lot of batters, had the 7 consecutive strikeouts in a game. It was a couple of starts ago as the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball at the knees for strike 3. As Wood gets his first strikeout as he gets Ray Alejo looking, and there's 1 away in the bottom of the first.
Oh, nice change of speeds there by Wood, going with the fastball up on the zone, and then goes right back with an off-speed pitch at the knees, catches Alejo looking. Big punch out for Wood as well, as there's 1 out now.
Into the middle of the order now as Hunter Bishop digs in from the left side. First pitch to Bishop, misses low into the dirt. It's going to get by Debo, and advancing over towards second base is Dominic Canzone. So now runner on second with 1 out. And Hunter Bishop, somebody whose bat has come along recently, as he has now reached base consecutively and reached base safely in 11 consecutive games. Also has 3 home runs in his last 6. The 1-0 pitch. This is below the knees in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
And even bigger for the Whitecaps now is that they have a little bit of work with here with a runner on second base and only 1 out. And especially the left-hander Bishop at the plate, a ground ball towards the right side of the infield will advance him to third base.
The 2-0 pitch. This is just upstairs and outside, and the count 3 balls and no strikes on Bishop.
Wood working everything away on this at bat to the left-hander.
Canzone off second base, 1 out, 3-0 pitch. This is upstairs. It's a 4-pitch walk issued by Austin Wood. And there are runners on first and second with 1 out in the bottom of the first. Still a scoreless game between the Mariners and the Whitecaps.
Well, not the worst thing in the world, because now you can get the force out at second base back as well. Especially a dangerous guy as Bishop, who over the last couple of games.
And Connor Gramis, the designated hitter, digs in from the right side. Digs that back foot in, steps out, and steps back in. And we've documented some of the control issues Austin Wood had. Back in his last start versus Chatham, he pitched 4 innings, had 5 walks, allowed no hits, as the first pitch is on the inside corner for a strike, in the count 0-1 on the 4-hitter Gramis.
That's a Chatham lineup that is very dangerous as well. A couple power guys in there with Bush, Torkelson, John Rave, Greg Jones, Blake Sable.
Drew Mendoza. There are a lot of really good bats in that order. The 0-1 pitch swung on, a chopper up the middle for a base hit. Rounding third is Canzone. He'll score. It gets by the center fielder, Norman. Rounding third is Bishop. He'll score. And all the way over at third base is Connor Gramis. And it is a 2-0 Brewster lead in the bottom of the first inning as that ball got by Garza over at shortstop, just up the middle, and then got by Bishop over in, or beg your pardon, Norman over in center field.
Yeah, just an unfortunate play out there in center field. A ball that looks like it's just be a single and score 1 run, ended up scoring 2, and now a Whitecap is over at third base. So Austin Wood has a little bit of a jam he's in right now, and the Whitecaps take the 2-0 lead.
So runner on third base with 1 out, 2-0 Brewster Whitecaps lead. As the 5-hitter, Jesse Franklin steps in. First pitch, fastball in the outside corner, and the count 0-1. And it's important for someone like Austin Wood to recover in this situation, to continue to throw strikes, because if he avoids the walks, he'll be just fine. He can recover from allowing 2 runs here in the bottom of the first. And the 0-1 pitch is cut on, a foul ball down the left field side, out of play, and the count 0-2. Gramis off of third with 1 out. Wood comes set. The 0-2 pitch swung on, a ground ball. Diving stop by Garza at short, throws the first. Not in time. But holding up at third base was Connor Gramis. So runners on the corners with 1 out. You don't see it all that frequently where a runner's going to reach first base, but the runner on third does not come home to score.
Yeah, no, it was a really nice stop by Garza, and the whole infield was in, and made a nice play with the backhand diving to his right, and then it was a tough play to make a strong throw across the diamond.
Runners on first and third with 1 out. The first pitch is swung on, a high pop-up foul down the first base side for Mike Freeman. And the count 0-1. Austin Wood has more strikes thrown than balls. 11 strikes, 7 balls from the right-handed pitcher. And the 0-1 pitch is going to get by Debo. Coming home and scoring is Connor Gramis. Advancing to second base is Jesse Franklin. So runner on second and a 3-0 Brewster Whitecaps lead in the bottom of the first.
Well, that ball played a little bit of ping pong back there, or pinball, I should say, as it deflected around the back fence area. Played a little bit of a game on Brad Debo and ended up standing up at home plate. Coming in to score was Gramis.
So now a runner on second base with 1 out, and we've documented the problems with Wood with wild pitches. He has 2 already in tonight's ball game, but for the most part, he's been able to throw strikes, and that's important.
Yeah, no, just pounding the zone and just trying to let your guys put the ball in play of a defense behind you. So he's tried to do so far. There's a couple unlucky bounces that have gone against the Mariners.
And the 1-1 pitch, fastball in the inside corner, and the count 1-2. Freeman with 3 home runs in the season, his average up to 250 overall. Wood comes set. The 1-2 pitch. This is inside, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Franklin off of second base with 1 out in the bottom of the first. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on, a line drive, 1 hopper over towards first, fielded by Eichhoff. A flip to the pitcher, but it's not in time. And now runners on the corners with 1 out as Eichhoff fielded that ball pretty deep over at first base, and by the time he fielded it and he tried to flip over to first, it was not in time to get Ike Freeman, so yet another base hit from the Brewster Whitecaps. They lead 3-0 already, and in the bottom of the first inning, the runners on first and third with 1 out.
We talk about the unlucky hits, and they just continue there as a tough play for Eichhoff. Had to take a couple steps back, and then he was too far off the bag, and just beating Wood over there was Ike Freeman. A couple balls that have just either gone through the infield, through the gaps, or plays like that.
And Gage Workman's bat has come alive recently. First pitch on the outside corner for strike one. Has a few home runs in the last 10 games. Runners on the corners with one out. The 0-1 pitch swung on, a high fly ball to deep right center field. Going back is Norman to the track. It's going to one-hop the wall. One run scores. Rounding third is Freeman. The throw to the plate is not in time. And all the way in at third base is Gage Workman. It's a 2 RBI triple from the left-handed hitter. And the Brewster Whitecaps lead this game 5-0.
A nice hard hit ball by Gage Workman, drives that one out towards the right center field gap. If the wind was maybe blowing out a little bit more, it might have had a chance to get out as it one hopped out the fence up there. And this is exactly the kind of start if you're Brewsters. What you want is to just pile on the runs in the first couple innings.
And still just one out in the bottom of the first inning from Alston Wood, and it's been tough for him so far. The Brewster Whitecaps have gotten a couple of luckier hits, some close plays over at first base, and part of that can be the difference. Instead of putting up a 5 spot in the first, it could be 2 or 3, as the first pitch is a breaking ball swung on and missed from Cameron Eden. And the count 0-1. Now this is a crucial game again for the Brewster Whitecaps, as the Whitecaps look to clinch the playoffs. And with a win for the Whitecaps and a loss from Orleans today, they would do just that. The 0-1 pitch misses up and in, and the count 1-1.
Of course, Orleans had a couple chances to try to jump Brewster. Both teams have lost back-to-back games.
The 1-1 pitch. This is below the knees, and the count 2-1.
Or I should rather say Orleans has lost 12 of their last 13 games. Brewster's having lost back-to-back games, and Orleans had a couple chances to try to jump Brewster, and they just weren't able to do so. And Brewster had a couple chances to put this one away.
2-1 pitch, cut on and missed from Eden, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. One out, bottom of the first inning. It's a 5-0 Brewster Whitecaps lead. They're all over the Mariners in the bottom of the first. And they're not done yet as Gage Workman leads off of third base. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on, a high fly ball into left field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Coming in and scoring is Workman. And it's an RBI single from Cameron Eden. And the Whitecaps lead this game 6-0.
Again, it sounds like a broken batter off the edge of the barrel. Just finds his way. The outfield grass is just a little blue pit. Again, we talk about unlucky hits, and they just all have come out in this inning.
And the pitching coach, Steve Gruenberg, is going to jog out to have a chat with the entire infield, as the Mariners have found themselves in quite a hole in the bottom of the first. They're down 6-0. They have just one out, and there is a runner on first base for the Brewster Whitecaps. And if you're Coach Steve Gruenberg, what are you looking to talk about right here on the mound? What are you trying to tell somebody like Alston Wood? I mean, the start's not going the way he would like, clearly.
Well, he's going to tell him to continue to what he's been doing on the mound. I mean, keep firing fastballs, you know, in the strike zone. Keep attacking these hitters. Keep just trying to be competitive. You know, he's probably noticed, you know, it hasn't really gone the Mariners' way. A lot of these base hits, they're just getting through the holes, like that broken bat one, just a little blue pit over the third baseman's head. I mean,
Here we go, folks. Here comes
they haven't been, he hasn't like he's been hit hard. Besides that, maybe triple off the bat of Gage Workman. That's probably the hardest hit ball this inning.
And the 9-hitter, Joe Donovan, digs in. Runner on first base, one out. 6-0 Brewster in the bottom of the first. And the first pitch from Alston Wood misses up and in for ball one. One 0 pitch. Misses again, and the count 2 balls and no strikes on Donovan, as the Brewster Whitecaps will at a bare minimum bat around. as the ninth hitter comes to the plate in the first inning. The 2-0 delivery swung on and chopped foul over towards the Brewster dugout. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike. And it's not like Austin Wood's pitch count is crazy high. I mean, it's definitely high at 32 pitches right now, but considering he's allowed 6 runs in the inning, it's not like he's throwing a ton of pitches. It's these Brewster Whitecaps are jumping on pitches early in the count.
Well, they have their game plan at the plate, and that's attacking early.
2-1 pitch swung on, a slow ground ball towards the third base side, and it's going to roll foul as Danny Casals picks it up. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes as Donovan will have to return to the batter's box.
Yeah, you never know off those edge of the bats. You know, when you're rolling over out on the first base side or the third base line, they can always kick fair. This one happened to kick foul.
Count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Joe Donovan. Runner on first base, 1 out. The 2-2 pitch misses low into the dirt, and the count runs full at 3-2. Brewster ahead in this game 6-0. And the 3-2 pitch swung on, a high fly ball into shallow right field. It's going to drop for a base hit. That's another one off the edge of the bat, and Gabe Rivera was running over to it, but it drops in fair territory for a hit. And the runner's on first and second with 1 out as the leadoff hitter, Dominic Canzone, will dig in from the left side.
And it just continues to go around for the Whitecaps. They keep finding a way to get on base. So now batted around.
6 consecutive base hits from the Brewster Whitecaps and 7 total on the night as the first pitch is on the outside corner to the leadoff man, Dominic Canzone. And as much as you want to see someone like Austin Wood fight through this and pitch another couple of innings and finish off tonight's start strongly, there has to be a certain point where you end up going to the bullpen here. As the 0-1 pitch is swung on, a ground ball deflected off the mitt of Wood. He picks it up and throws over to first, and there are 2 away in the bottom of the first.
Those broken bat shards can come right back at you, and that's what Canzone's ball did right there. But good job by Austin Wood to knock that ball down in front of him. Record the out.
Here's our right fielder, and here is Ray Alejo.
Ray Alejo, well, he was the only man who was retired the first time around this lineup. He struck out looking and was the second batter of the game, and at that point, it was still tied. Now it's 6-0 Brewster in the bottom of the first. The first pitch to Alejo is swung on and fouled off to the screen behind home plate, and the count 0-1. Runners on second and third with 2 outs as the Brewster Whitecaps look to extend that lead. And the 0-1 pitch misses upstairs, and it's going to get away from Debo. Coming in and scoring is Cameron Eden as the Whitecaps extend their lead to 7-0. And over to third base as well as Joe Donovan.
And this inning just keeps going on and on and on and keeps prolonging. Whitecaps again, match for 7 runs now on 7 hits.
And they blow the doors wide open in the first inning. Now this game, of course, there's still a lot of time. We're in the bottom of the first. There is time for the Mariners' bats to get going, but they're going to have to produce as the 1-1 pitch is swung on, a high fly ball towards right field. Gabe Rivera ranging over, and it's going to get out of play as the count 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Alejo.
That was a well-hit ball by Alejo down the area. Rivera's going over towards that right field corner, but ran out of room. There is no fence down here on either left field or right field side, just an orange line.
The 1-2 pitch. This is just inside to Alejo, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. And now 40 pitches thrown by Wood in the bottom of the first. 7 runs scored by the Whitecaps, and it's just been a hit parade from Brewster tonight. The 2-2 pitch swung on, a line drive into right center field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Yet another run comes around and scores. Rounding second base is Alejo. He's going towards third. It's a stand-up RBI triple from Ray Alejo. It's 8-0 Brewster.
We mentioned the speed that Alejo has, and any ball out in the gap over there in right field, able to take an extra base is Alejo when he drives in a run as well. As now everyone on this Whitecaps team has reached base.
So Coach Steve Engler will walk out to the mound. Let's see if that'll do it for Wood or not. And he's looking over at the bullpen. I have not seen official motion over towards the bullpen yet. And there's going to be a relief pitcher for the Harwich Mariners coming in with 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. It's 8-0 Brewster. We'll sort out the details when we come back. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Back in the bottom half of the first inning, it's a Brewster lead by a score of 8-0 as they put up 8 runs off Austin Wood. A tough outing for the right-hander who had his control tonight, but he was just hit badly by this Brewster lineup as the first pitch is swung on and missed, count 0-1. Runner on second base with 2 outs, and there's a new pitcher in for the Harwich Mariners. That's Garrett Pearson.
Pearson making his debut here on the Cape League.
0-1 pitch, misses upstairs and outside, and the count 1-1.
Pearson made 9 1/3 of innings worked back at VCU, over 11 appearances out of the bullpen, coming over from the Cal Ripken League.
And the 1-1 pitch. This is low, and the count 2-1.
In the Cal Ripken League, he played for the Silver Spring Tacoma T-Bolts, and he struck out 23 in 11 2/3 innings.
The 2-1 pitch from Pearson. This is just below the knees in the count. 3 balls and 1 strike on Hunter Bishop.
So he showed that swing and miss stuff that he has back in the Cal Ripken League.
The 3-1 delivery misses upstairs and outside. It is a walk issued to Hunter Bishop. With 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. Runners on the corners, and every single player in the Brewster Whitecaps lineup has reached base, whether it be with a base hit or a walk. Hunter Bishop actually is the only one who's reached base without a hit, and he now has 2 walks on the evening. And the first pitch swung on and missed from Connor Grammis, and the count 0-1 on the right-handed hitter. It's Alejo off third, Bishop off first in the bottom of the first inning. The 0-1. Misses below the knees, count 1 ball and 1 strike. And the Harwich Mariners, they're not out of it again. It's so early in this game, but they're going to need their bats to get going. We've discussed this in past games in which the Mariners need to be able to string together hits when they've got runners in scoring position, as the 1-1 pitch is swung on and chopped foul over towards the bleachers on the third base side. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Grammis.
Yeah, you have to think that back in either the second or third inning, I at least score a couple runs. Otherwise, if this game prolongs towards the middle innings and they still don't have a run on the board, the confidence is also going to go down as well.
1-2 pitch on the outside corner for strike 3. So that will do it for the end of the bottom of the first inning, but not before the Brewster Whitecaps put up 8 runs. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back in the top half of the second inning as the Mariners trail the Whitecaps 8-0. 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up for the Harwich Mariners. After the long layoff in the bottom of the first inning, there's a new pitcher on the mound for the Brewster Whitecaps.
And it's Chris Wright, the two-way player out of Bryant University, a native of Cumberland, Rhode Island. So far this season, he's pitched in 5 games, 1-0, and 7 2/3 scoreless innings, 16 punch-outs.
First pitch, fastball upstairs, and check swing as Gabe Rivera goes around. 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up for the Mariners. Rivera, Stanton, and Garza.
We've seen Wright a couple times with the bat. He's only hitting 197, but with the arm, he's pitching pretty well.
0-1 pitch, clips the lower part of the zone, and the count 0-2 on Gabe Rivera.
And before coming into this game, Lingenfelter, the starting pitcher, is only going to pitch maybe 2 or 3 innings tops anyway.
The 0-2 pitch swung on and missed, and Rivera goes down swinging. There's one away in the top of the second.
We mentioned 16 punch-outs in just 7 2/3 innings pitched. Strikes out the first hitter he sees.
From the University of Southern New Hampshire, here's left fielder John Stanton.
John Stanton from SNHU steps in. First pitch misses upstairs. The 1-0 offering from right is swung on and chopped foul down the first base side. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on Johnny Stanton.
Yeah, Stanton only 8 at-bats this year, still searching for his first base hit. He's played across 3 games, came out as a pinch hitter against YD back in YD.
The 1-1 pitch misses up and in the count 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed, count 2-2 on Johnny Stanton. I was talking to Stanton before tonight's game. He was telling me that he's normally a 3 or a 4 hitter in the Southern New Hampshire University lineup. But here in Harwich, he finds himself a little bit later in the lineup as the 2-2 pitch cut on and fouled off. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. As he's in the 7 spot tonight, he's normally been in the 7, 8, and 9 area. He's someone who has a lot of power, can hit also for average, as he was one of the top hitters on the SNHU team. SNHU, again, a Division II team, as the 2-2 pitch misses upstairs in the count 3-2. They're always one of the D2 powerhouses, will frequently make it to the World Series in Division II. And the 3-2 pitch misses inside, and Stanton works a walk. So runner on first base with 1 out in the top of the second. It's been all Brewster so far, 8-0.
Well, it's good for the Mariners to get a base runner on here in the second inning. You don't want to go down quietly, and with that walk, they have something going on here in the second inning.
And it's the 8-hitter, Ramon Garza. Garza out of the Valley League, also played at Cornell this past season, as he digs in from the right side. Stanton off first base with 1 out. The first pitch swung on, a line drive foul down the right field side, out of play, and the count 0-1.
A couple guys coming up from the Valley League, as that league the season has finished down there, and as well as the Cal Ripken League. So a couple guys from those 2 leagues will be filtering their way into this Mariners team.
And the 0-1 pitch in there for strike 2, and the count 0-2 on Garza. Stanton off first base with 1 out. It's all Brewster in the top of the second, as the 0-2 pitch is swung on, and a short line drive over towards second base. Freeman moves over and makes the catch, and there are 2 outs in the top of the second. Now it's the 9-hitter, Brian Dempsey.
Number 8 from Boston College, second baseman Brian Dempsey.
Dempsey made his appearance in yesterday's ball game. Went 1 for 3.
And Dempsey was an interesting story back at Boston College. He was someone who struggled mightily in his first 15 or 20 games, as the first pitch is swung on a foul tip into Donovan's mitt, count 0-1. But over his final 20 games at Boston College, he hit .397. And then he went over and played in the Cal Ripken League and hit pretty well there. He said there wasn't anything in particular that he started doing to turn his season around, as the 0-1 pitch is swung on and fouled off down the right field side, count 0-2. It was just that he continued to work, and eventually the hits started falling for him over at Boston College.
It's always an adjustment going into college, where you're going to see a little bit better pitching than in high school.
The 0-2 pitch. Fastball at the knees for strike 3, as Dempsey goes down looking to end the top of the second inning. It's an 8-0 Brewster lead. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back in the bottom half of the second inning as the Brewster Whitecaps lead the Harwich Mariners 8-0. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas Cinderella. Glad to have you with us this evening as Franklin digs in from the left side. Jesse Franklin, Ike Freeman, and Gage Workman due up in the inning. First pitch from Pearson is swung on, a high pop-up down the third base side. Ranging over is Danny Casals. He'll give way to the shortstop Garza, who makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
That's usually always a easier play for the shortstop to make. It's almost, you know, think about it as the infield as a windshield wipers, as anything over that third baseman, the shortstop would do, and same over at the first base area, where anything behind the first baseman, the second baseman always has a better angle on it. Just a routine play.
And the first pitch to the six-hitter, Ike Freeman, swung on and missed, and the count 0-1.
And with that single in the first inning, he extends his hit game streak as well to 13.
The 0-1 delivery. This is low and in the dirt, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Pearson, you'll see somebody throwing, see him throw in the low 90s generally. Is the 1-1 delivery is swung on and missed, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Freeman.
Probably got to go a couple innings here to just eat up some innings and see what he's got. Maybe he can use him in the postseason as well.
The 1-2 pitch misses low, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Comes set, the 2-2 delivery. This is upstairs, and the count full at 3-2. This past season at VCU, he came into 11 games, all of which were in relief. And he pitched 9 innings, had an ERA of 8.68. As the 3-2 pitch is swung on, a ground ball over towards third base, fielded by Casals. Will throw across the diamond, it's in time. 2 away in the bottom of the second inning. It's an interesting story from someone like Garrett Pearson, who has only through 4 seasons thrown a total of 26 2/3 innings. And over the first 3 seasons, he only pitched a total of 17 innings, and he only allowed fewer earned runs, 2 total earned runs over his first 3 seasons. And the first pitch runs low and inside to Gage Workman, and the count 1-0. Pitched in the Cal Ripken League in the past. And now comes to Cape Cod. The 1-0 pitch from Pearson. Swung on and fouled off down the left field side, tailing out of play. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike on Gage Workman.
Yeah, that's what can happen in college. Some guys don't get used a lot, either on both sides of the ball, either pitching or offensive side. So sometimes they'll transfer out to maybe a junior college if they're from a big-time school. We see a couple guys do that here on the Cape. That they'll play first year, they don't get a lot of playing time. They'll go to junior college. You know, you hit a ton down there or pitch a lot, and they'll transfer back into a powerhouse school just to prove that, you know, what they got.
The 1-1 pitch to Workman. This is off the outside corner, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike on the left-handed hitting shortstop. The 2-1 delivery, swung on, a high chopper. It's going to deflect off of the shin guard on the right leg of Workman and went into fair territory, but since it deflected off the shin guard, it's automatically foul, and the count 2-2.
And not a call at first, so about to say, I don't know why he's not running down the line. I didn't quite see it off, but
base paths empty, 2 outs. 8-0 Brewster in the bottom of the second. The 2-2 pitch cut on and fouled off behind home plate, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Harwich Mariners officially clinched in the 3 spot in the Eastern Division. They'll be taking on Chatham this weekend in the first round of the playoffs. The 2-2 pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen behind home plate, and the count remains 2-2. Now Brewster is a very interesting case, as they are a team that is currently in the 4th spot in the Eastern Division. They only have 12 wins, and this is a team that has struggled the entire season. And they are looking to get back in it and make the playoffs, as 4 of the 5 teams in both divisions make it. As a 2-2 pitch cut on and fouled off behind home plate, out of play. The count remains 2-2. They're fighting with Orleans, and the Brewster Whitecaps are 1 point up on the Firebirds.
If this result holds here, Orleans will have to win to stay in it. Remember, last year's Brewster team that won it all was only a 500 team.
2-2 pitch runs up and in the count 3-2 on Workman.
Anything can happen once it gets to the playoffs. Today, the Highness Harbor Hawks released about 6 players, including Braden Como, who's top 5 in the league in average. So something interesting going on out there in the Western Division.
The payoff pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen, and the count remains 3-2. And Harwich, as I mentioned, facing off against Chatham. They haven't beaten Chatham this season, so it's at least important the Mariners get 1 win before they get into the playoffs, because the Mariners have also lost 3 consecutive. They want to find a way to get a win and get into the playoffs on a positive note so that they have confidence going in. As the 3-2 pitch is swung on, a slow ground ball over towards second base, fielded by Dempsey. He'll toss over to first, and it's in time to get the speedy Gage Workman. It's a 1-2-3 inning worked by Pearson. At the end of 2 innings of play, it is an 8-0 Brewster lead. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back inside Brewster, Massachusetts for the top of the 3rd inning. Mariners trail in this ball game 8-0 as Ben Norman, the leadoff hitter in the Mariners order, digs in from the left side. And the first pitch misses upstairs and inside for ball 1 from right. Right back out there for his 2nd inning of work. A little bit of a breeze in Brewster, Massachusetts, as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. You have your umpires for tonight's game. Behind the plate, John Patala. Over at first base, Larry Rosenberg, as the 1-1 pitch is swung on and fouled off by Ben Norman. Into the third base umpire tonight, Rick Antonio. The 1-2 pitch to Norman, swung on, a high fly ball out towards left field. Left fielder Canzone moves over towards the line and makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
Canzone doing a good job down there to track that ball. It could have slicing and dropping away from him.
And Danny Casals, who is playing third base tonight. He's played almost all season over at second base, but Eichhoff is playing at first base tonight. And over at second is Dempsey as the first pitch to Casals is swung on and fouled off behind home plate. The count 0-1. And Shunk also has a night off at third because Eichhoff and Shunk have been playing third very consistently, mostly Shunk. Shunk has started at third, I'd say about 90% of the games since he's arrived. And then someone like Eichhoff has played intermittently as the 0-1 pitch misses upstairs, count 1-1.
Yeah, basically Shunk has solidified his spot over at third base, DH'd a couple times.
The 1-1 pitch swung on, a high chopper foul down the third base line, and the count 1-2. Top of the third inning from Stony Brook Field in an 8-0 Brewster Whitecaps lead. It is the two-hitter, Danny Casals, who digs in from the right side. He has a base hit tonight. Was stranded at third inning back in the top of the first as the 1-2 pitch misses just outside, and the count 2-2.
Close pitch there from Chris Wright, but Casals able to take a tough pitch.
The 2-2 pitch misses upstairs, and the count runs full at 3-2. The 3-2 delivery swung on, a high pop-up in the infield. And the second baseman, Freeman, calls off the first baseman, Franklin, and he makes the catch for the second out of the inning. A quick 2 up and 2 down from Chris Wright.
Yeah, Wright so far has been really good, although he walked Johnny Stanton with 1 out in the second inning. He also has 2 strikeouts. He's done a great job on the mound. We mentioned he's pitched 5 scoreless innings, or excuse me, 7 and 2 scoreless innings coming into this game. And now it's officially August. He was a guy that pitched on that Cumberland, Rhode Island Little League World Series team.
And the first pitch to Andre Lipsius is swung on, a high chopper over towards third. Fielding and throwing to first base is Eden. It's in time to get Lipsius at first base. So a 1-2-3 inning pitched by Chris Wright at the end of 2.5. It's an 8-0 Brewster Whitecaps lead. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Cape Cod Baseball is brought to you in part by Chatham Bars Inn, a proud member of leading hotels of the world. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care, and Curry College. For more information, visit www.curry.edu. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters are due up in the bottom of the third inning with an 8-0 Brewster lead. It is Cameron Eden who steps in from the right side. first pitch swung on, a high pop up into shallow center field. Dempsey, the second baseman, moves out onto the outfield grass and makes the catch for the first out of the inning, as Garrett Pearson continues to do well for the Harwich Mariners on the mound.
Yeah, he's really steadied the ship here. Worked a scoreless second inning after he came on in the first.
He wears number 11 for your Whitecaps.
Done a nice job on the mound, and now he's retired. He in the first hitter here in the third inning.
Joe Donovan.
He's pitched 1 2/3 innings of work, thrown just 27 pitches, as Joe Donovan, the 9-hitter, steps in from the right side. First pitch, this is below the knees for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch cut on and fouled off to the screen, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Base path's empty with 1 out in the bottom of the third. 8-0 Brewster. They scored 8 runs back in the first inning on 6 consecutive hits, or 7 consecutive hits. It's the 1-1 pitch is swung on, a line drive into center field for a base hit. And there's a runner on first with 1 out in the bottom of the third inning, as Garrett Pearson allows his first base hit of the evening.
You know what would have to happen sometime, and Joe Donovan now has collected 2 base hits this evening in his first 2 plate appearances. And if you're the Mariners, just keep trying to compete out there, and Pearson on the mound will try to do so.
And the first pitch is swung on and missed from Canzone, the leadoff hitter, and the count 0-1. Canzone is coming to the plate for the 3rd time in the bottom of the 3rd inning, as the 0-1 delivery is swung on and chopped over to first. I caught to second for 1, back on to first. Not in. Oh, it's in time. Oh, and Canzone can't believe the call, but he's called out at first base by the umpire over at first, Larry Rosenberg, and I have to admit, I don't think he was out at first base, but nonetheless, it is a 6-3 double play to end the bottom of the 3rd inning. It is an 8-0 Brewster lead. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
And welcome back inside Stony Brook Field for the top of the 4th inning. And if you missed the first couple innings, you missed a lot. 8 runs scored by the Whitecaps in the bottom of the 1st inning. 8 runs on 9 hits so far, no errors, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error for the Harwich Mariners. Highcoff, Debo Rivera set to do battle. Southpaw out of Bryant. Lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch from right. Misses down the zone for ball 1. It's been an overcast type of day here in Brewster. Wind continues to pick up here as the game goes on, blowing out towards straightaway center field. It's a lot of wind going on here. off the water as the 1-0 to Eichhoff is a check swing, but he swung through that one for strike one. 1 ball and 1 strike on Eichhoff. Eichhoff, who bounced out to the first baseman his first time around, looks to do different here. Right comes set, the 1-1. Eichhoff off the edge of the barrel, a drop in for a base hit, a bloop single out towards center field as the Mariners record their 3rd hit in this afternoon's ball game. And Eichhoff extends his 3-game hit streak into 4 here in Brewster. So Eichhoff off of first base, nobody out here. In the top of 4th, 8-0 Mariners lead. So Wright will now face another left-hander and Brad Debo, the catcher out of NC State.
Yeah, the Mariners had 2 hits back in the first inning and were threatening at that point, looked to take the lead in the ball game, but have not been able to record a hit in either the 2nd or 3rd inning. But it's a positive start in the top of the 4th, showing some life, and they have to find a way to put a run across in this inning, though.
First pitch misses upstairs for ball 1. 1-0 is cut on and missed by Debo. Count is now 1 ball and 1 strike on Wright. Wright, who is a native of Cumberland, Rhode Island. Bryan University plays his college ball just down the street from me at Providence College, as the 1-1 pitch is grounded over towards the third baseman, Eden. He throws on to Freeman at second base, and that's all they'll get there. A fielder's choice to Debo.
And Debo is going to be headed back over towards the dugout.
He's going right into the dugout. I'm not sure what happened there, and it could have been something running down that line.
I don't think he's not out at first base. It's going to be, they're going to need a pinch runner, as something must have happened to him, as you could hear him yell as he ran over to the dugout. So there'll be a change in the lineup as Logan Driscoll will take his spot over at first base. Now, that's going to hurt the Mariners. We'll have to see what happened to Brad Debo, as he seemed to limp and jog over towards that dugout after rounding first base. So new player in the lineup for the Mariners is going to be Logan Driscoll.
So Logan Driscoll will pinch run over at first base with 1 out. And is now the right fielder, Gabe Rivera, out of Miami. Lefty-righty matchup. First pitch is cut on and missed for strike 1 from Rivera. Rivera, who went down swinging his first time up in the 2nd inning. Of course, Rivera out of Miami, University of Miami. 0-1, misses down the zone for ball 1. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike. And right here at Brewster is where Ryan Braun played for the Brewster Whitecaps, also out of the University of Miami. A couple Hurricanes making their way onto Cape Cod. 1-1 offering from Wright is cut on and missed for strike 2. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Rivera. All right, so far, who's been lethal out of the bullpen, 24 strikes, only 10 balls. He's pitched 2 1/3 inning, only 1 hit allowed, 1 walk and 2 punch-outs. 1-2 pitch is fouled back into the screen off one of the posts and comes right back to Chris Wright.
Yet another example of pinball. This
Yeah,
time playing in the favorable direction for the Whitecaps.
There's not a lot of backstop behind here, similar to Lowell Park in Katuitt. I mean, a very small backstop area compared to some other ballparks here in the Cape. Stony Brook a little bit small, as the 1-2 pitch is fouled back in the screen. Count remains 1-2. So 8-0 Whitecaps lead, 1 down here with Driscoll over at first base. He's pinch running for Brad Debo, who ground to his fielder's choice after Eichhoff started the inning with a single. The lefty right comes set. The 1-2 pitch, cut on and missed. Fastball up on the zone, and Rivera goes down swinging as Wright picks up his 3rd strikeout here out of the bullpen, as they're quickly 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. So now coming around to the right side is left fielder Johnny Stanton. Out of Southern New Hampshire, a local kid out of Sandwich. They will try to prolong this 4th inning here. First pitch to the right-hander misses high for ball 1. And you know, when anything high on Stanton is pretty high, it says he's 6'4", but I think he might be a little bit taller than that, maybe around 6'5".
And he's big too, really built. He's Very strong there at the plate.
1-0 pitch check swing, but able to lay off is Stanton. He's kind of like in that Will Matheson situation where they mark him down at a certain height, but you just think he's a little bit taller than that.
Well, I know Will Matheson is taller than the 6'5" he's listed as. I mean, I'm close to 6'5". Matheson is at least 6'6" or 6'7".
2-0 pitch is a slow chopper over towards third base. The third baseman, Eden, bare hands to throw across the body, and not in time as Stanton will reach base on an infield hit. As the first baseman, Jesse Franklin, had to do a pick job over there, but Stanton was clearly safe.
Good for Stanton. It's his first base hit as a Mariner.
Wearing number 4 for the Harwich Mariners
Stanton
from
was
Cornell University.
1 for 8 coming into that, or excuse me, 0 for 8 coming into that at bat. Is now 1 for 8 as he worked a walk back in the second inning, and is on base for the second time in this ball game. That was the only walk that has been issued by Wright. So now a 2 down, 2 men on for the Harwich Mariners. First pitch to Garza is in there at the belt for strike 1. Garza, the shortstop out of Cornell, recently added to this Mariners roster. Wright looking to work out of trouble here in this 4th inning. Driscoll over at second base. Stanton over at first. Check swing a pitch that bounces into the mid. Able to lay off is Garza, counting his back up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Garza 0 for 1. He popped up to the second baseman in the second inning. Wright gets his sign, comes set from the belt. The 1-1 pitch. Fires a fastball upstairs, misses above the letters for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike is the count. Mariners wearing their road alternate BP uniforms, navy blue. As the Whitecaps were in their home white and teal colored. Nice stirrups, as the Mariners, of course, the other team that wears stirrups. Sox as the 2-1 pitch is a high fly ball out in the air towards the left field corner down there towards the 315 sign. And it is fair ball, so it is out of here. It looked like it was going to go foul, but it gets out of the ballpark. It's a 3-run home run off the bat of Ramon Garza. Only 315 down there, and it just stays fair in between that foul pole. And as it heads into the wood, and Garza puts the Mariners on the board here as they now only trail 8-3 here in the top of the 4th inning.
It's a huge piece of hitting, for Ramon Garza to see him get himself a hit for the Harwich Mariners. And more importantly than that, it gives the Mariners 3 runs in the top of the 4th inning and puts them back in this game. They're only down by 5, and they still have 5 innings to go. So this game is not out of hand at all anymore. With a big 3-run homer from Garza, it's his first hit on Cape Cod, and it couldn't come at a better time.
That's a loud first hit for Garza. 3-run home run puts the Mariners on the board as much before. 8-3 is the score now. First pitch to the 9-hole hitter Brian Dempsey misses upstairs for ball 1. So nobody on with 2 outs. 8-3. Whitecap Selena as the 1-0 pitch is popped up and out of play behind the first base bleachers side. Count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. So the Mariners now have the hit column up to 5. They trail in the hit column and the run column. 9-5 in favor of Brewster in the hits. 8-3 lead, of course. As the 1-1 pitch is off the edge of the barrel and will ground it over towards the on-deck circle on the Mariners side. Count is now 1-2. And that's what can happen. You get a couple guys on, do some damage. We talked about last game where they got guys on, they just couldn't score them. They needed an extra base hit, and Garza able to drive in 3 with the home run as the 1-2 pitch comes inside and it hits him.
Yeah, it's a hard fastball that comes inside on Dempsey, and he ends up getting the pass over towards first base. You could see him take a deep breath after that ball came up and hit him, as I think it frightened him for a half second, but he appears to be just fine as he jogged on over to first base. Yesterday was quite an interesting situation with Jose Reyes pitching for the Mets. And he had a pitch that came up and inside on Zimmerman and ended up hitting him. It was right around 50 miles an hour with the curveball. And Zimmerman fake charged the mound as a joke, in that he obviously wasn't intentional, that the shortstop for the New York Mets ends up hitting him with the curveball.
First pitch to Ben Norman misses upstairs for ball 1. That was an entertaining game, you can say, if you're a fan of an offensive explosion in which, if it was a final score, like what, 24 to
25-4,
yeah. as the 1-0 pitch is in there for strike one on Norman. Count as 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, it was an ugly game for the Mariners, not for the Mariners, for the Mets last night. You know, they were unable to get any outs. It was from all the way in the beginning. I think it was Steven Matz who started and allowed something like 7 runs in the first 2/3 of an inning, and it just continued to get uglier and uglier from there.
At least that hasn't happened in this game. Whitecaps put an 8 spot here in the first inning as the 1-1 pitch off-speed slider misses high again. 2-1 the count. Right comes at the 2-1 offering. Popped up and out of play over the souvenir truck over on the third base side. Kenneman's back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just going back to Dempsey's hit by pitch. Anything around the hands area, that a wrist, you can hit off a finger. I mean, a lot can go wrong on a hit by pitch like that. We saw Aaron Judge, who played right here for Brewster. I mean, he went down for 3-4 weeks because he got hit on the wrist area. As a 2-2 pitch is a wave and a miss from Ben Norman as Wright works out of the inning. But it's a loud inning for the Mariners. They score 3 runs on the 3-run blast off the bat of Ramon Garza. Puts the Mariners on the board after 3.5. 8-3 Whitecaps lead. Listen to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom of the 4th.